figure this, figure that, the Don's Figure Chat. This time it's Project Legacy. I'll explain that as we go along. It's a concept me and Grant came up a while ago to start doing something like that, but this was the perfect opportunity. Excuse if I look like I'm sleeping. Grant just said I look like I'm sleeping. It's not. It's because I'm looking down and reading what's on the page in front of me. So excuse me, I am wide awake. Just bear with me. It says here, firstly, to thank my family and friends. I think you can only imagine how much I owe to family and friends, especially my mom and dad and the rest of the sisters and their families. There's 4 sisters. My mom, her twins, identical twin, and there's 2 sisters to the youngest and their families. They rallied around me, and yeah, from the day the accident just took me forward and bore me in their arms. There's no other words. They were around me like, yeah, unless you were there. And then there's Debbie and Grant. Now, I've known Grant a long time. We're only going back from the date of the accident, but he was the first person, the first guy I phoned on the day I got the off-duty traffic cop. Not knowing if my ex was alive or dead, not knowing what was happening with me. I'm in the hospital, being hit by a car. I phoned Grant. Grant then phones my mom and dad. To cut a long story short, because Grant's going to be dragging these stories out of me over the 2 years I was in the government hospitals, because we'll explain that why I didn't have medical insurance and only went in the private hospitals once third party took over, but that's a whole nother episode. This was just to say thank you to my family and friends who stood by me, got me through everything. I've got a particular girl cousin that lives up in Joburg. She knows who she is. Just the best family and the best friends anyone could ever ask for. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wouldn't be alive today from that day's accident if it wasn't for you. So that's out the way. And then I've got the back chat, which I've got, there's a whole group of friends of us that help each other through shit. It was them that bought me the diorama as a present that IC Customs made from Steve Webber, which was really, for me, it was quite a high accolade. I've never had someone do that for me like that. I mean, we've never met in person, but we've spoken for years, basically 2 years, 2.5 years. And they're just a bunch of great guys, and everyone has problems, doesn't matter if you're young or old. So we've been able to talk about it there. So the back chat guys, you know you are. Bottom of my heart, love you gents, and thanks for helping me through thick and thin. And I know you'll be on the channel giving me shit later on, but that's okay, because I'm going to kill yous anyway. But that doesn't matter right now. The groups, yeah, they've meant a lot to me over the last few years, especially since my mom passed. The groups were like a place I could go to in safety. You are who you are in the groups. You're taken on your word and on your reputation. And it takes a lot to get there in the groups. I must admit, you'll be introduced to the groups through the segments of videos, and you'll see they're good folk. I could tell you stories, which I will, of them helping other collectors in their time of need. The collectors have all stood together. But then there's the horrible side as well. You get idiots in every game. But yeah, to the collectors who I've made friends with in the groups, who've spoken to me, I've spoken to them on Messenger, who I've made friends with. Again, you guys rock on, eh? Best place to be in the groups. Okay, now before I explain the format of what we're going to be doing, I thought I'd explain Project Legacy. So Project Legacy, we were talking the other day. Grant's got a dodgy ticker. He's had a heart valve replacement. So, you know, you've got to expect the worst at any time, because he knows for Prime how it can, a quarter of a second changes your life. Me, I had the accident, and I've had this number of operations which you'll find out about and I'm telling you, this is double figures high, major operations that they've done on me to save my legs, my spine, my So and then I was thinking, okay, well maybe that's going to take me early. Hopefully not before my dad goes, because I've just lost my mom, which was a body blow, a real body blow, and I just can't even think of losing my dad right now. But we're in scary times. So legacy, we thought, would be for our children's children to look back and look at these two idiots trying to do a YouTube channel. And obviously the figures and my collection mania is the thing to focus on, and Grant wants to run his project alongside. Because I know it's about me, but it's very interesting just what happened amongst people. The stories are immense. It's like people stepping forward and saying, I'll be there, and they were there, you know? It was rough times, It was really rough times. My ex was in a coma. I tried to save her. It's a long story. You'll get that in the process. But so we thought we'd leave a legacy for our kids to watch. I don't even know if I can mention their names, but there's two girls and there's a boy, and the boy's got a girl, if that makes sense. So the four are my children, where with Grant, he doesn't really know my son's other half that well yet. They're friends, but you know, they've just really met kind of thing anyway. But the other two are his, two awesome, don't mess with the Zohan and the kicks. You'll see me advertising my son's tattoo studio, my son and his partner in life and partner in crime. They run a tattoo studio here in the Vale, they're both tattooists in Ballock. So this is like an introduction of myself. I'm Dale from Hot Toys Not Toys group, Dale Innes, the Don. You'll see me hanging around there, giving the odd comment. Lately I've been off it because it's been a time and a half since Christmas. I got invaded, and it's been stories to come. So I was just going to go over, I suppose everyone got into this hobby. For me, it was started with Action Men, Action Men, the Beano, the Dandy. Lived in Sunderland growing up before we went to South Africa. Then we went to South Africa, and South Africa didn't have TV when we got there. They only got TV in 76, we got there 75. And then it was, the main language was Afrikaans, so you had one night, half it was supposed to be, one night English, one night Afrikaans. And the weekend was either English or Afrikaans. That was our TV. And it was only on a certain time, and that was it. So it was, we'd left all my Action Men and all that, the tanks, the helicopters, all the odds and sods. We'd left that in England when we went to South Africa. Don't know why. We still think, why did we leave that? That's how I got into it. Collecting comics at CNA, because we were under sanctions as well, if you remember right. South Africa was under sanctions because of apartheid, which I didn't even know about in those days. I mean, I was a fresh, snot-nosed kid in South Africa from Sunderland. Pale skin, a soap peel in Joburg, we went to one of the hardest suburbs in Joburg, which was Yeovil, the Yeovil manna, the Yeovil boys, the Yeovil O's. But that's how I got into it. I got into art that way as well, thinking, that's sweet, thinking about I used to copy drawings from the comics, and that's how I got my love of art, the love of pop art, the love of comic art, and from there it was just more comics, more graphic novels. So all through my life I've been in and out the ARC game, or the collecting game of comics. You'll see the Ficino Galamo collection I've got, which is paper mache cars, and where you see the detail, paper mache cars sprayed with polyurethane. Ficino Galamo his name is. He's really good, his stuff's really good. He even does half scale stuff, he does quarter scale stuff. Yeah, I know, he's good, he's good. So that's how I got into ending up here with this collection. I joined the groups about 5 years ago. Since then we've just taken off. I've got on with quite mostly everyone in the groups because we've all got the same interests. So yeah, we're all after the same thing, you know, that new figure. That figure, your grail piece maybe even, that's maybe, oh, there's my grail piece, but I can't get that right now, wrong time, the month, this, that. So yeah, the groups are cool, eh? The groups are very lucky to be in. So there's also all my collections. I've got quite a few. I had a blade collection that I've always collected blades, fixed folders. I got into sword canes. Sorry, I'm waving this around. I got into sword canes after I became disabled. 21 years ago, I got into the sword canes. And it was all off the one family in KwaZulu-Natal. A son, two sons and a dad. Brilliant. Members of the guild, the Knife Makers Guild of South Africa, which is, it's quite hard to get in. I've seen the work they have to produce to get in, you know, to enter, to be approved to become a guild member. So yeah, it's quite prestigious is the word.